Let's talk about one of the most universally awkward moments in all of modern dating, shall we? You know the one. The date is going great. You're laughing, you're connecting, but you can feel it coming. That moment of truth is getting closer and closer. I mean, picture this. Everything is perfect. You're clicking, you're sharing stories. Maybe there's a little bit of that accidental arm grazing going on. You're actually thinking, hey, this could be something. And then it happens. It just lands on the table, silently, and it has the power to just kill the whole vibe. Yep, that single piece of paper. And just like that, a tidal wave of social anxiety just washes over you. Your mind starts racing, right? What's the protocol here? What are they thinking? What does my next move say about me as a person? And so it begins. You can feel it. The quiet, frantic math happening in everyone's head. The subtle little glances. The tension is so thick you could, I don't know, cut your tiramisu with it. This is the moment where everything we think about tradition and modern life just collides. Oh, come on, you know this move. The slow, almost over-the-top but dramatic reach for the wallet or the purse. It's this universal signal that says, hey, I'm totally willing to pay. But deep down, you're kind of hoping the other person jumps in and says, no, I got this. It's a classic for a reason. Or maybe you get into what I like to call the polite payment dance. You know, the, oh no, let me get it. Are you sure? Absolutely my treat. This little ritual is so common, it's basically how we all try to get through the awkwardness with a little bit of grace. But why? Why is it so complicated? Well, it's mostly because we're all playing with two completely different rule books in our heads at the same time. Let's start with the old school one, the one that's been around forever, the traditional script. Okay, this slide really lays out the central conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got the traditional script. This is all about chivalry, right? The guy paying is a sign of care. It fits into that classic provider role. But then on the other side, you've got the modern script, which is all about equality. Splitting the bill sends a totally different message. We're partners in this. So digging into that traditional view, the act of paying is loaded with meaning. It's not just about the money. It's supposed to be a clear signal that he's invested, that his intentions are serious. For a lot of people, it's actually a comforting gesture, kind of hearkening back to this idea that the man is able and, willing to provide. But of course, we don't live in a black and white movie. Times have changed, big time. And that brings us to the other rule book, the one that's all about building a totally different kind of relationship from the ground up. The modern argument is pretty compelling. Splitting the bill can be seen as the ultimate sign of mutual respect. You're establishing that you're both on equal footing from the very first date. And, here's a big one, it gets rid of that weird feeling of obligation. If you pay your half, you don't owe them anything. Not a kiss, not a callback, nothing. It just reflects how most of us see relationships today, as a partnership. And yet, it's just not that easy, is it? I mean, look at this quote. It shows that even a modern move, like agreeing to split the bill, can be seen through that old traditional lens. For this person, it wasn't a sign of equality, it was a sign he just wasn't interested. This is where it all gets so messy. So we've got these two big ideas floating around in our heads, but what's actually happening out there in the real world when the check hits the table? Well, a pretty big survey gives us a really fascinating and, frankly, contradictory look at what we're all doing. Okay, get ready for this. Despite all the talk about equality and splitting things, a massive 84% of men say they're still paying for most dates. And not just the first one, but even after they've been dating for a while. So it looks like tradition is still a very powerful force in practice. But here's the twist. Even while they're paying, the internal conflict is huge. More than 3/4 of men admit they feel guilty if they let a woman chip in. They're totally caught in the middle, feeling like they can't win no matter what they do. And it's not any clearer on the woman's side of the table. I mean, look at this. It's a perfect catch-22. 44% of women get annoyed when a man expects them to help pay, but at the exact same time, 40% get annoyed when a man won't let them help pay. It's a no-win situation. It just goes to show how confused we all are about this. Okay, so the data basically confirms it. We're all lost. So what do you actually do? How can you get through this moment without all the stress and anxiety? Well, thankfully, there are a few practical, common-sense guidelines that can really help. Let's start with the simplest, cleanest rule out there. Whoever did the asking does the paying. That's it. Etiquette experts have been saying this for years. It takes gender completely out of the equation and just puts the responsibility on whoever made the invitation. It's a really straightforward way to handle it. But if you want a more detailed game plan, just think of these 4 easy steps. 1. Communicate. Seriously, a quick text when you're making plans that says, "Hey, excited for tonight, happy to go Dutch," can solve everything. 2. Always make the gesture. Always offer to contribute. Even if they say no, the offer itself is a sign of respect. 3. Just be gracious. No matter who pays, a simple, genuine "thank you so much" goes a really long way. And 4. Let it evolve. What you do on date 1 doesn't set the rule for life. As you get to know each other, you'll figure out a system that feels fair to both of you. So at the end of the day, there isn't one single right answer that works for everybody, but it's clear that how you handle that little piece of paper, it's not just about money. It's about communication. It's a signal you're sending about your values, your expectations, and the kind of relationship you're hoping to build. So the real question isn't just who pays, it's what story are you trying to tell?